I want to start the program with horrific news, just gut-wrenching news from Afghanistan, mainly because I don't think it's received enough attention and also because it relates directly to us here in Australia. Terrorists in Kabul triggered bombs on the weekend, deliberately targeting schoolgirls. Schoolgirls, think about that. It looks to be the work of Sunni terrorists, perhaps Islamic State or some offshoot of them, directed specifically at Shia Muslims. But whoever it was and whatever the intent, yet again, senseless slaughter, this time directed at the young and the blameless.
Backpacks, textbooks, a pair of girls' shoes, all remnants of an explosion outside a Kabul school. An eyewitness told Reuters all but 7 or 8 of the victims were schoolgirls going home after finishing their lessons. Outside, people read the names of the victims. Inside a morgue, a man looks for his relatives among the bodies. Families of the victims blamed the Afghan government and Western powers for failing to put an end to violence. The attack comes a week after remaining US and NATO troops began exiting Afghanistan with a mission to complete the drawdown by September 11, which will mark the end of America's longest war.
At last count, the death toll was 68. Yet again, the attacks have shown that at the core of the Islamist extremist ideology is a hatred of female empowerment, particularly the education of girls and young women. And the fact that the attack comes only a week after Allied forces began a staged withdrawal is just a horrible taste of what civilians in Afghanistan can expect in 4 months' time. The presence of the Allies has been a stabilising factor, shoring up the vulnerable Afghan government and holding the fragile line between order and anarchy. But it was only last month that US President Joe Biden said this.
Our reasons for remaining in Afghanistan have become increasingly unclear. U.S. troops, as well as forces deployed by our NATO allies and operational partners, will be out of Afghanistan before we mark the 20th anniversary of that heinous attack on September 11th. But we'll not take our eye off the terrorist threat. I've concluded that it's time to end America's longest war. It's time for American troops to come home. We'll not conduct a hasty rush to the exit. We'll do it responsibly, deliberately, and safely. And the Taliban should know that if they attack us as we draw down, we will defend ourselves and our partners with all the tools at our disposal.
Well, as you saw, the Taliban or Islamic State or whatever group is responsible isn't dissuaded in the least by Joe Biden's rhetoric. Of course, none of this mess began with Joe Biden. He even extended a withdrawal date issued by President Donald Trump. Nonetheless, as the incoming president, he's inherited this, and the signs are ominous indeed, especially for women and girls. What was Biden promising only a few weeks ago?
And we'll continue to support the rights of Afghan women and girls by maintaining significant humanitarian and development assistance.
Yeah, it's not development assistance these schoolgirls need most in Afghanistan, is it? It's protection from murderous zealots. In fact, as it happens, our own Foreign Minister Maurice Payne was in Kabul today promising to support the Afghan government and the peace process. Nice wishes, but of course Australia announced we would withdraw along with the Americans in a few months' time. We don't have much choice, frankly, with the Americans pulling out. We've been in the Afghan Badlands for 2 decades as well, and 41 Australians have given their lives in this conflict. But as I said last month, the downside of exiting the country now could well be that all of the gains are squandered, not just for the West, not just for holding a strategic line, but for the people of Afghanistan, and especially the girls whose only threat to the world around them is that they would like to go to school.